So some New York lawmakers are renewing the push, for a state law that would lay the groundwork to pay reparations to Black Americans whose ancestors were enslaved. Proponents gained steam after a task force in California last week recommended that the Golden State shell out $569 billion in reparations to slave descendants. There are 223,200 apiece because of the lingering housing discrimination practices. A previously proposed New York measure called for creating a commission to study, the impact of slavery and providing reparations that failed to pass the legislature. It is now being revised. Backer says, we saw what happened in California. We want to pass a bill that starts a conversation about reparations, said Assemblywoman, Michelle Solanges. She's a Democrat. She's chairwoman of the New York Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian Legislative Caucus. Now, Assemblywoman, Taylor Darling, another Democrat, said it would be a slap in the face if Governor Kathy Hochul and the legislature don't greenlight a reparations study commission. Now, Darling also scoffed and said that the 223,000 figure that California task force recommended, for each Black descendant there was too low. She said this country was built on the backs of enslaved people. It has impacted everything: housing, economic development, education. She said the previously proposed New York bill which called for the creation of the 11-member commission to study the issue passed the Assembly June the 3rd. In a 104-45 vote, but stalled in the Senate. Now, Solange says she and other supporters want the revised bill addressed by Hochul and the legislature before the state budget is approved next year. So that any cost associated with the Reparations Commission can be included in the financial plan. They want to push this legislation early. You want to do something that is meaningful. Not ceremonial. Solange said that a former 3-term Republican Governor George Pataki said reparations are the wrong way to go. He said there are 5 types of reparations that will be discussed according to Solange. Direct compensation, which that's the only one that really matters. Actually, restitution of a victim's rights. We don't care about that. And property, psychological, or mental health. Rehabilitation. Reform laws to prevent and stop discrimination, and government apology or acknowledgement of guilt for the sin of slavery. Let me tell y'all something. Nobody cares about no acknowledgement. We don't care about that. All we care about is direct compensations. Apologies don't mean crap. It don't mean anything. Why do you need to apologize? No, direct compensation is all you need to do. Now, you pass out the checks to people in New York, Black people there, and you want to apologize, go ahead, do that. But direct compensation is the only thing that matters. Now, what's going on in California is really being paid attention to. Because as I said before, Gavin Newsom is thinking about running for president. And if Gavin Newsom were to, let's say it passed, he signed reparations for Black Americans, and he run for office, a lot of people would vote for Gavin Newsom, especially if he say on a federal level, I'm going to push for reparations, right? Hey, I did it in California, and I'm going to push for it on a national level. The reason why reparations, ladies and gentlemen, is really steaming forward, because I had to think about this. Why is some of the Democrats on the state level, why they really want to do reparations? All of a sudden, now they want to do it. Of course, we could talk about what we push. We could talk about the pressure we put on them, etc. But this is the issue for reparations when it comes to, I think, the Democrat Party. This is going to be the lifeline of the Democrats. This is going to kind of be like Civil Rights Bill 2.0, reparations for them. They know that every 2 years, they're losing more and more votes. They're knowing every 2 years, the fear mongering isn't working like it used to. They understand that they're going to have to deal with us and our generation. And our generation are saying reparations. So what they're saying is, you know what? Let's go ahead on and maybe we need to start talking more about reparations. Maybe we need to even get to a point of doing a commission. Now in California, you know, they gave a number. And if they pass, it passes and Governor Newsom signed it, there will be a lifeline to the Democrat Party in California at least. They will have black people for a long time if they pass reparations. Because think about it, they're not trying to do anything nice for black people. They're thinking about what we need to do to keep black people. Because Asians don't come out and vote in mass numbers. Hispanics don't come out and vote in mass numbers. And if they do vote, it's split. And a lot of them vote more Republican than Democrat anyway. But they know black folk vote Democrat. They know this. So they say, we got to assure the Democrat vote. And the only way we can do this is reparations. And we need reparations. I'm a firm believer of us being a single issue voter. Just as much as the white folks who on the right say that if you don't have the Second Amendment, I'm not voting for you. And it's the same way we feel about reparations. If you're not for reparations, I'm not voting for you at all. Now, we just saw this election with Warnock and Herschel Walker. Some black folks are just celebrating that. I mean, Warnock didn't promise you crap. He didn't promise you anything. And you celebrating that? Okay. I mean, do you? The Democrats need reparations, believe it or not, to be their lifeline. If they want to use reparations as their lifeline, fine. I'm good with it. Because black folks need reparations. Black people in California need reparations. Black folks in New York need reparations. Trust me, I was just in New York. Black folks need reparations in New York. They do. So if the Democrats really want to stay in power, they better pass reparations. I would tell you that. Y'all think y'all can just keep pulling the same old, same old? Like I told y'all, about 2030, y'all going to be in trouble. That's the time y'all going to be in trouble, 2030 and on. But let me know what y'all think about New York discussing reparations once again because of what they're seeing in California. Because trust me, the politicians are only doing this to benefit themselves. And that's fine. No problem with me. Just cut those reparations checks.